Hello and welcome to the channel Tech and More. So let's talk about software testing lifecycle in this video. And similar to STLC or software development lifecycle that you might have heard a lot, software testing lifecycle shows or elaborates the stages or the steps that are involved in the complete testing process. So first of all, let's have a look at the diagram. As you can see on the screen, it shows the steps or the stages one by one, and it starts from requirement analysis and then goes to test planning and all the way to test cycle closure, right? This is the basic step by step short diagram of the complete process. Now, of course, we will understand the step or the stages one by one. So in STLC or software testing lifecycle, the step number one or stage number one is requirement analysis. As a tester, when you're supposed to test or make sure that the product is getting delivered correctly, you have to have the basic or a very good rather a very good understanding of the requirements or of the complete functionality of the project, right? As a tester, you're expected that. As a developer, you're expected to gain more expertise into the technical side, but as a tester, you're expected to gain or have a very good grasp on the functionality of the project. That is how things are working, what are the flows, right? So step one is all about that. You understand the complete project, you read the requirements, you get the complete feel of the project, that what is the flow, how is it going, and all these different parameters are involved in step one. So all in all, step one involves reading the requirements, understanding them, and making a sense out of the complete system. That is step one. Now let's go to step two. Step two is test planning. So as in life, if we start anything, before starting we always have to plan, so we go in an organized manner and we do not forget anything. Correct? So same is the case with software testing lifecycle or the complete process of testing. Before actually going ahead and starting the testing, you have to plan. And what the different parameters that you can plan here are: when does testing start, when does testing end, what type of testing are we going to do, if do we have an automation inclusion in the complete testing plan, how number of people we are going to employ, or dedicate to that project, what are the expectations out of this project. So and n number of different parameters, these are some examples. So all these different factors and parameters are thought of, written, finalized in stage 2, that is test planning, or step 2, test planning. Now let's go to step 3, which says test case development. As the name suggests, you have to design the test cases in this stage or in this step. Now in let's suppose when the development has begun, and you as testers cannot test anything until the development team tells you that, you know what, we have developed this, and have a look at it and start testing, right? And at that point of time, there might be one challenge if you do not design the test cases prior. That is, if you do not have the test cases, you will start the testing randomly, right? And you might, and not might, you will for sure miss a lot of pointers. Correct? So it is very important that we have the organized and managed test cases before we actually start the testing. That is, designing test cases is a must, because we by that way we cover all the different scenarios and we write them down so we do not forget anything. That is number one. Number two, when you actually get the product to test or a sprint to test, that is not when you start designing the test cases, because before that, when the development team is actually developing those functionalities, you have ample amount of time, because you're now not supposed to test anything, right? So at that point of time, you start the test case designing or test case development, one and the same thing. So that is stage 3, a very important stage. That is, you think of all the different test cases, that is sanity test cases, happy paths, negative test cases, boundary value, and edge cases, all these, right? And what are these test cases? Don't worry, we'll discuss them in the other videos as well. So that is all about the stage 3, that is test case development or test case designing. Now, let's go on to stage 4, that is environment setup. What does this mean? So, it is a very good, or it is a very standard practice that you do not test where the development is happening. There are different setups, or there are different environments for where you test. The development team will develop or build things in the development environment. The testing team will go ahead and test it in the testing or QA environment. The client will test it in the UAT environment, and the end users, that is the final users, will test it or use it rather in the production environment, right? So you have to set up your environment, that is the testing or the QA environment. You have to set it up, you have to create users, you have to set up different test datas. That is the part or the things that you do in step 4, that is environment setup. Now, let's go on to the step 5, that is test case execution. This is the most critical part. That is when you get the functionality developed by the team, the development team, and they say that, okay, you know what, go ahead and test it now. Now, you're done with the requirement analysis, you're done with the test case designing, you're done with the planning and everything, right? Now, you should go ahead and you should start the actual testing and make sure that the things that have been given to you are working fine or not. And if you find bugs, you raise them, they get fixed, you retest them, and all that complete that complete flow is to be followed in step 5, that is test case execution, right? Now, let's go on to the step 6 and the last step of this complete cycle, which is test cycle closure. This means that since the complete project cannot be done at one go, so a project is divided into multiple releases, and a release is divided into multiple sprints. What are sprints, what are releases, what are agile model is something that we'll discuss in other videos. But yes, for now, understand that the project is developed into parts. So as soon as one part is done, you close it, that yes, we got this particular sprint, we got this particular part wherein we had these requirements, we built test cases, the test cases were built, we set up the environment, then we raised issues, started testing raised issues, and now I think we are good to go. These 5 set of functionalities are working absolutely fine as per our feedback. So now we give a go ahead that yes, the testing is done, and go ahead and start using it. So that is what the last step is, that is test cycle closure. So in brief, this is what software testing lifecycle is, with all the different stages explained with detail, but in the briefest manner possible. So I hope that the things were clear to you. But of course, if you have any questions, any doubts, please reach out to us, and we assure you to get back to you within 24 hours. That is for sure. And I hope to see you in other videos wherein we'll be discussing a lot of different aspects of software testing from all the different domains. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again. Thank you.